Good morning, students. So today we are going to revise the chapter Language of Chemistry, as we have already finished all the syllabus. So this is the chapter that we are going to revise in today's session. So the first topic we are going to revise in this chapter, that is Language of Chemistry, is chemical reactions. So first of all, as you can see in the green ribbon, that the change of one or more substances into other substances having different composition and different properties is called a chemical reaction. So you're taking suppose I'm giving you an example. Suppose you're taking water, you have added milk into it, then you have added sugar, tea leaves in beaker or in saucepan, and these are the substances which you have taken, and what you do, you supplied heat to it. So what will happen? All the substances which are present in the saucepans reacts and form a new substances, that is your tea. So the substances which take part in a chemical reactions are called reactants. And what are those reactants in this example? Milk, water, tea leaves and sugar. And what are the product? Tea. That is your product. So the substances which take part in a chemical reaction are called reactants, and the substances formed in a chemical reaction are called products. So this is all about chemical reaction, reactants and products. Now let's move to the chemical reaction. What is given? A chemical reaction may take place when two or more reactants come in contact with one another and transfer of energy takes place. In a chemical reaction, the amount of reactants decreases, whereas that of products increases with time until the reaction is over. So in this reaction, that is hydrogen plus oxygen, which gives water, hydrogen and oxygen are reactants and water is your product. What will happen in this reaction is the amount of hydrogen and oxygen decreases with time, whereas the products, that is the formation of water, increases with time until the reaction is over. Now, the rate of the chemical reaction is affected by the following factors. What are the factors? First factor is physical state of the reactants. You know there are three types of physical states, that is solid, liquid and gas. Then temperature, pressure and concentration of the reactants. So if you supply some temperature or pressure and concentration of the reactants, it will affect the rate of a chemical reaction. Third is catalyst. Catalyst is what? Catalyst is a substance which increases the rate of reaction. Like in this example, you can see potassium. If you have taken the example of potassium chlorate, that is KClO3, if you supply heat at 600 degrees Celsius, it forms potassium chloride plus oxygen. But this is a slow reaction. So if you want this reaction to proceed fast, or if you want to increase the rate of the reaction, then one catalyst you have to add in this reaction, and that is manganese dioxide. So potassium chlorate plus manganese dioxide, if you supply heat at 400 degrees Celsius, it forms potassium chlorate and oxygen gas. So this reaction proceeds fast, and this manganese dioxide acts as catalyst in this reaction as it increases the rate of reaction. Now in this, did you know, colon, you see, during a chemical reaction, no matter is lost or gained. Thus, during a chemical reaction, the law of conservation of matter holds good. Now, what is this law of conservation of matter? So, it states that number of atoms in the reactant side is equal to the number of atoms in the product side. So, you have to balance a chemical reaction so as to maintain that no matter is lost or gained during a chemical reaction. Now, all the metabolic reactions in our body are catalyzed by enzymes. So what are these enzymes? The enzyme can catalyze only a particular reaction. So these enzymes are highly specific in their action. Some examples or some reactions are given here which takes place in our body. First, digestion of starch. So this reaction, these metabolic reactions are catalyzed by a specific enzyme named amylase. So in the presence of this enzyme amylase, this digestion of starch occurs. The second one, in the presence of lipase, digestion of fats. You can see that fat in the presence of lipase forms glycerol plus fatty acid. Then the third reaction, digestion of proteins. In the presence of pepsin, trypsin, peptidases, this digestion of proteins occurs and form amino acids. So these are the reactions, these are the metabolic reactions which are catalyzed by enzymes. And all the enzymes are highly specific in their action. Now let's discuss some of the characteristics of occurrence of a chemical reaction. So the first one is evolution of gas. So some chemical reaction takes place with the evolution of gas. Like for this examples, you can see that zinc plus sulfuric acid gives zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas. This hydrogen gas is what? This is in this reaction, rapid evolution of gas occurs. So this rapid evolution of gas in any chemical reaction is called effervescence. So effervescence is what? Rapid evolution of gas. In the second reaction, that is sodium carbonate plus hydrochloric acid, it forms sodium chloride plus water plus carbon dioxide gas. Here also effervescence of carbon dioxide occurs, released. So this is also an example of evolution of gas. The second characteristic is change of color. So in this particular reaction, that is when you just heat this red lead oxide, which is red in color, it changes to yellow color. That is lead monoxide and oxygen gas released. Then the next state, that is formation of precipitate. So what is this formation of precipitate? So in some reactions, when solution of two reagents are mixed, that is in one test tube, suppose I have taken silver nitrate, and in one test tube, another test tube, I have taken sodium chloride. If we mixed silver nitrate and sodium chloride, what will happen? One white precipitate will occur. And what is this precipitate? So it is the insoluble substances which is formed at the bottom of the test tube. So this is silver chloride will form and sodium nitrate will form. This is white precipitate, silver chloride. The second reaction, when you add a few drops of ammonium hydroxide to solution ferric chloride, reddish brown precipitate is formed, which is FeOH whole thrice. The next characteristics, that is energy change. So during a chemical change, energy is either evolved or absorbed. The energy evolved or absorbed may be in the form of heat, light, electricity or sound. So in the first reaction, you can see that coal burns in the presence of oxygen to form carbon dioxide plus heat plus light. So in this reaction, heat and light are evolved. So this is the reaction, this is the characteristics of energy change. So you see, did you know facts? The formation of precipitate during a reaction is indicated by an arrow pointing downwards or writing S at the end of the formula. And the evolution of gas during a reaction is indicated by an arrow pointing what? Pointing upward. Here downward arrow is marked upward, no? You have to mark like this. You have to mark like this arrow. So here it is written wrong. Correct it. Now here you see Evolution of heat in a chemical reaction is indicated by adding the term plus energy on the product side of the equation. Absorption of heat in a chemical reaction is indicated by adding the term plus energy on the reactant side of the chemical. The reaction in which heat is evolved are called exothermic reactions, and the reactions in which heat is absorbed are called endothermic reaction. So what is this reaction when coal burns? It is exothermic reaction. Why? Because heat is evolved during this reaction. This is reaction calcium carbonate plus heat gives out CaO plus CO2. So in this reaction heat is absorbed, so that is why it is an example of endothermic reaction. Now the next characteristics is change of state. So in some reactions the physical state of products is different from that of the reactants. So you see the hydrogen gas and oxygen gas is present in the gaseous state, and when you supply electric spark and at room temperature it forms water, which is liquid. So you can see that the reactant side and product side the state is different. So okay, this is your chapter which we have revised today. So you know the syllabus of your chemistry is language of chemistry and metals and non-metals. So prepare accordingly. If you have any problem, you can comment in the comment box. Thank you.